Hello friends, we've seen the markets run up in the past 7 to 8 days after the government initiative on the key policy reforms like the diesel price hike and FDI in retail and also FDI in few other important sectors. And after that we've seen that the markets which were running at around 5250 odd levels, the Nifty from that level has gone up to almost close to 5700 levels, and certain important sectors have also run up in the process. So there are a lot of retail investors who would be looking out for investment opportunities in certain sectors where the maximum impact of these initiatives could be seen. So we've just tried to shortlist some of the sectors which would have this kind of a positive impact, and we'll present to you some of these ideas purely from a delivery or investment perspective. Friends, broadly speaking, there are 4 sectors where we think that this entire policy initiative would have the maximum benefit. PSU companies, we all know that they were beaten down very badly because of various reasons. Apart from that, infrastructure segment also had been the major underperformer because of the lack of a policy initiative and because of their not being able to raise money in a very dull kind of an environment. Banking also, because of the NPA concerns and the fact that the macro environment was challenging, continued to remain a major drag for the market. And of course, a lot of stocks in the mid-cap space, despite having a good business model and a quality management, were not able to perform. Friends, talking about the PSU space, this entire space was a major laggard for the past couple of years, mainly because of the government inaction and also frequent issuances by the government in an adverse market scenario. And we believe that because of the government initiative, there is a case for some kind of a re-rating in this entire space. And remember that some of these companies have a good amount of cash in its books. So something like a Coal India or Oil India and a few other companies which have a cash on its books, if they come out with some kind of a buyback announcement, then that could trigger off some kind of a re-rating across entire PSU space. So friends, we have tried to shortlist some of the companies which have good fundamentals and also have a good cash on its books. And we believe that companies like Oil India, BHEL, MOIL and Engineers India are extremely well placed to show a good performance over the next let's say couple of years, and they also have a good amount of cash in its books. So from a valuation perspective also they are looking attractive, so one could look at some of these companies from an investment perspective. Talking about the other sector, friends, we all know that infrastructure has been a major underperformer for the past couple of years, mainly because of 2 reasons. One was that the overall business outlook was extremely bad because of the lack of government policy initiative. Money raising or fundraising had become extremely difficult, and some of these companies had a huge amount of debt on its book, and in a challenging environment it was proving to be difficult to service that debt and show any kind of a growth. But now with the government policy initiative and the fact that the risk appetite globally also has improved over the past couple of months, there is a case for a re-rating in that particular space, and we have tried to shortlist some of the companies that one can look at for investment. And we believe that in the large cap space, companies like Reliance Infra and JP Associates, which had its own set of problems, could really do extremely well in the current scenario. At the same time, from the mid cap space, we believe that IRB Infra, which has been a laggard for the past 1.5 years, could also do well, and Lanco Infra, which actually was performing very badly because of the high debt and the fact that though it had a good quality power plants, it was not able to line up coal for its plants. It was a laggard, and now we believe that in the current scenario this company could do very well. Friends, PSU banking space, we all know, was a major underperformer for the last 1.5 years because of the difficult macro environment and also on NPA concerns, though the valuations of some of these banks were extremely attractive. And we believe that now that the government has started taking steps on the deficit front, like diesel price hike and the entire package which is being talked about for the SEB sector, where a lot of PSU banks have an exposure to, could start getting re-rated, because though some of these banks have run up in the past few days, we believe that on a valuation parameter they continue to look attractive. So friends, we have just shortlisted some of the banks like State Bank, Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, Allahabad Bank and PNB. Within that entire basket, we believe that PNB and Allahabad Bank do look very attractive on price to book parameters, and we believe that because these two banks had a huge amount of exposure to the power sector, and now that there is some kind of a package being announced for that, there is going to be a good amount of buying interest in these two banks. Friend, as I said before, that mid-cap sector as a whole has not done well, and given the change in the scenario, we have tried to shortlist companies which would have the maximum benefit of the reforms which have been announced. So we believe that Aditya Birla Nuvo would benefit mainly on two counts. One is that the FDI in retail, whenever it materializes, there is going to be some kind of a re-rating, because remember, they have a good presence in the retail space. Also, company has acquired a few brands from Pantaloon recently, and also friends, it has a very strong presence in the insurance sector. So whenever we see the FDI hike in the insurance sector, there is going to be a re-rating in that. Also friends, it has a very diversified business model, and it has a very strong presence across old economy businesses like carbon black and insulators. Also it has a presence in asset management companies, insurance and telecom. So we believe that this company with a very strong diversified businesses would stand to benefit the most. So it could be a good investment pick to look at. So friends, just to sum up, companies that we like in the PSU space are Oil India, BHEL, MOIL and Engineers India. In the infrastructure space, we like Reliance Infra, Jaiprakash Associates, IRB Infra and Lanco Infra. In the banking, PSU banking space rather, PNB and Allahabad Bank is something that we like. And finally, in the mid-cap space, we also like Aditya Birla Nuvo. Remember friends, these are the stocks that we like from an investment perspective. These are not trading ideas, so one has to keep a time frame of about 6 to 12 months at least. And because some of the stocks like Aditya Birla Nuvo have run up quite a bit in the last about 2 to 3 days, we would advise that investors could look at accumulating these stocks on any possible correction that you may see over the next few days. That's it from all of us friends.